Hey, Night Owls, this is Matt,
And Kyla.
and this is Bump in the Night. All right, so I am joined tonight by my beautiful wife, Kyla, who wanted to get in on the whole Skinwalker talk because, like I teased last time with Navajo legends, I'm sure most of you can figure out I was talking about the Skinwalker. Um, she apparently doesn't know anything about Skinwalkers, but her grandpa was Indian, and so it kind of drew your attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what you don't know anything about
I
Skinwalkers?
mean, I know generic stuff, like just from what you've seen on random YouTube videos or TikToks, but nothing like in depth. I haven't done research on it. So,
And that's actually something I want to do is on the YouTube channel. I want to do some reaction videos of Skinwalker encounters. So I don't know if you'll join me or not, but I will definitely be doing that one soon. So we'll get started. Do you know where Skinwalkers come from? How they're born, how they're made? Anything other than just the Navajo legends, like I just said?
nope.
All right, well, they are obviously Native American legends, specifically to the Navajo. And what makes them difficult is to get the real legends of them. It's actually taboo in the Navajo villages to speak about skinwalkers. They don't even like to mention the name skinwalkers because they believe that it draws one to you.
Makes sense.
So that would be terrifying. Maybe I shouldn't say skinwalker anymore. Skinny walker. I don't know. Gonna draw one to us.
Fear of the name only increases fear of the thing itself.
But what's interesting is a lot of people nowadays, you especially see them on TikTok, YouTube, things like that, they are described as like creatures. And they're not actually creatures. They are human beings. They are considered Navajo witches that have done a spell to become this being that can transform into other animals. I mean, even to the point they can actually, in some legends, possess a person. Um, of course, you get those videos where they imitate voices, things like that. But yeah, they're pretty creepy. So, what is a skinwalker exactly? Like their characteristics, they're gonna look like you or me, like just typical person, but they can shapeshift into animals. And even in some legends, like I said, they are able to take the form of another human being or basically possess you. They believe that if you lock eyes with a skinwalker, that they can literally absorb themselves into your body, which is fucking terrifying. So if you were a skinwalker and I looked at you, you could just possess me and make me. That would be terrible. Credit card debt would be very high if you possessed me. So much Disney stuff.
True.
You would be the princessiest, most princess-like skinwalker fucking ever.
Yep.
But so skinwalkers, they are in human form, but one of the main things is if you shine a light on them or something, their eyes will reflect the light as cats and dogs do. That sort of thing.
In
So
a few of the videos that I've seen about that kind of stuff, like it's always the reflective eyes that you see in the videos too.
yeah. Well, I mean, Supernatural, the TV show, kind of drew on this with shapeshifters, because on the video cameras and stuff, it would reflect the light. And same
Hmm.
thing, the legend says that reflects the light. But most skinwalkers, when they're out in the wild, they're described as basically a naked human being, except for a animal pelt of some type draped over them. And these pelts are what is basically infused with magic and what gives them the ability to change into that creature. Um,
I wonder if in like modern days, because if it's a Navajo legend and that's how, they're originally depicted, modern days, like I wonder if it would be any different. Like if they would still have the pelt or fur of some kind, but, you know, look a little bit less intimidating or
could
more modern.
work it into actual like clothing lines, like
Yeah, like a vest or something. You see fur vests all the time, or, a scarf or something.
so our supermodels are all Skinwalkers. They're wearing the
No.
fabulous.
No.
No?
No.
Okay. According to legend, these evil beings, because they are evil, they are considered evil, and we'll get into that later about how you become one, because that really shows how awful you are as a human being, because it gets fucking dark. But they are able to choose from pretty much any animal they desire. But the most common ones in the legends are the forms of a fox, goat, owl, coyote, cougar, dog, wolf, that sort of thing. I'm sure even bears. Jesus Christ, a skinwalker bear would be fucking terrifying. It'd be like Mordoon.
Mordu.
Mordu. I say it
Mordu.
wrong. Um, the most readily available pelts of the legends is the dog, coyote, goat, and sheep. Those are what you
So
hear about.
essentially, they have to have the pelt of the animal to be able to turn into it.
In the Navajo legends, yes.
Okay.
That's all. I've never heard of one just like shape shifting.
It kind of sounds like a twisted or a different version of like a were creature, a lichen
Kind
of
of.
sorts.
Except for they can do it whenever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I
And they
mean,
have control of themselves. They're
de-
not just bloodthirsty
depending on
creatures.
what legends you believe of lichens, they can control it too.
Speaking of that, werewolf episode, that needs to happen.
I'll
Hell
take
yeah.
the lead on that one.
Yeah. But there is one creature out there that they say a skinwalker cannot transform into. One creature. That is a goose. I don't fucking blame them. Geese are mean. I wouldn't want to try and get them. Those
Hate
little bastards
geese.
used to chase me for bread at the college that my mom and I used to feed them at. They are mean little
I
fuckers.
hate geese.
And essentially they say that it is because of the attitude of the bird. They are just so feisty that it blocks the magic of the pelt. Or I guess, do you call birds a pelt? Whatever.
Caw.
Just no. I actually, to me, I'm happy that we don't have geese skinwalkers, because that would probably be scarier than the damn bear. Fucking wolf, a goddamn mutant goose chasing you down.
No thanks.
Nope, I'll pass.
No thanks.
So how do you become a skinwalker? And this is where it gets a little dark. So, and I know you're over here like, I don't know, being a skinwalker sounds kind of cool. I want to turn into a wolf or
Heck
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah, I know you. But sadly, in order to become one, you have to commit a horrendous crime. You have to murder a close relative.
Ooh.
Not like second cousin or something like that, like mom, dad, grandma, grandpa,
Child.
child. You have to not only kill them, but you have to have a heart of pure evil at the core.
Mm-hmm.
So you already have to be fucked up. And then in some cases, you have to actually eat some of the dead person's body,
Ew.
intake them. They the legends I didn't they don't give you a lot of info because I don't think they want people trying to go out there and become fucking
Well, that's
skinwalkers.
probably why they're not allowed to talk about it. It almost in a way like if you talk about it, they learn how to do it, and then
Yeah.
therefore you get more.
Yay! So at night the skinwalkers to be would gather in a dark cave, or a place like that to initiate members because they can travel in packs, things like that. Um, and in these gatherings, they feast upon their victims. So, like I said, kill your mom,
Cannibalism.
fucking mom sandwich. Um,
Yikes.
yeah. And then they also have to create potions of illness out of their victims' bones. So, like I said, you gotta be fucking evil to do this.
Yeah.
Cannibalism, spells, victims' bones. It doesn't sound good. If you just go away to a cave somewhere and suddenly your dad stops calling, I'm gonna start asking questions.
I was gonna say, but like you get to become magical though. Like,
But you have to kill somebody.
yeah, it's true. And it's not just some random person either. It's like,
Because
wait,
that makes
scratch
it
that.
better. That's better.
Anyway.
Okay. Guys, if I disappear, it was my wife. Anyway. Fucking psychopath. Scary.
My eyes are not reflective.
That's true.
We're fine.
That's true. Call 911. Anyway, so how can you tell if a skinwalker is nearby? You're gonna find blah, 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 can't talk. Gonna start finding animal carcasses all over.
Mm-hmm.
And there's going to be a very strong smell of decay. dead animal. I mean,
Okay.
they're literally just skinning them.
Right.
And the way the smell has been described is metallic and unpleasant to the senses. I can't talk tonight. I'm having a stroke. Senses, unpleasant.
Hmm.
Metallic makes sense. Blood.
Yeah.
Um, so when a skinwalker is stalking its victim,
Hmm.
they tend to make noises, banging on the walls. It was said way back in the day in the Navajos, they would hear when a skinwalker was nearby, they would hear banging on their walls, knocking on their doors, scraping on the walls at night.
Hmm.
Up on the roof, they would hear it on their dwellings. And these are all signs of a skinwalker trying to get a hold of its victim.
Hmm.
Not only that, but they can imitate people. Like
Peoples
people, like
and
the voices.
creatures and yeah.
They can definitely do that. So it says when you're hearing these noises, don't look out the window because you might look out there and see that motherfucker just standing there. And that is one of my worst fucking fears.
I
I
think I think we've all had that fear and that, dream or like daydream even of like like looking over and seeing something staring back at you.
I don't like open windows at night, like without curtains, which we have downstairs, and I've kind of gotten used to it because there's just houses around.
Yeah.
But like the idea of looking at my window and seeing something, or even someone, I don't even care if it's just a person. I don't want to. If you were standing out there, I would shit my pants.
Well, for me, I almost feel like seeing a person just standing there staring at you would be scarier than seeing an animal or a creature.
I don't
For
know about
me,
that.
personally,
Skinwalker.
I well, I mean, a skinwalker is resemblance of a human,
Yeah,
though.
but
But
they're
like,
a fucked up human.
people are
Ugh.
scarier than creatures to me,
Uh,
and that's why this one particularly is so scary. Is because it looks and imitates a human, looks just like a human.
Well, let's just add to the terror because if you look out there, it's said that a lot of times they have red or yellow glowing eyes, which
That's
is
lovely.
even more fucking terrifying. And they also, when they're in human form, it's said that they get a creepy smile on their face, and not just like the creepy girlfriend smile. It is literally from ear to ear, is what they say. This just huge grin.
Ugh.
Could you imagine seeing that outside your window? Uh, Another one, like I said, is they can imitate the voices of loved ones. So if you're out in the woods and you're randomly hear your mom or
Isn't
someone,
it also more like really common to hear them like screaming like for help
yep,
to try and get people to come
yep.
to them?
And so the rule of thumb with these guys is if you are out in the woods and you hear a cry of some sort, first off, these legends are literally making it so I don't care if a hiker's hurt in the woods. If I hear someone calling for help, I'm not going to look for him.
Babe!
No, they're gonna eat me.
Oh my gosh!
They are going to eat me, and
They
I
are
don't
not
want it.
going to eat
Nope.
you.
Sorry, dude. Shouldn't have gone hiking. That's
Oh
why I
my
stay in the house
gosh.
where it's warm. I've got food nearby in the fridge. I don't need to go in the wild. That's what grocery stores are for.
Oh my god.
I don't need to go into the wild. I can look out my window and see the mountain, and I'm like, oh, look, Mount Hood, wonderful. Do I want to go hike it? No, because there'd be a goddamn skinwalker. I don't care what you say. It may be irrational. I'm not doing it. Don't ask me to go on a hike. First off, I'm fat. Second off, I don't want to get eaten by a skinwalker. Anyway, back to things. It's said that if you hear a cry, that if it sounds far away, that means the motherfucker is real close. But if you hear them real close, it means they're far away.
Hmm.
And it says not to, I mean, obviously, you don't want to look like prey. So if you hear that shit,
Don't run.
turn around as quickly without running, walk back calmly to your vehicle, and get the fuck out of there because you don't want to look like prey.
Well, when you run and you trigger that, you know,
Hunting
prey
response. Yeah.
instinct.
Nope.
That's same with bears.
Yeah.
Don't.
I'd rather deal with a bear than a skinwalker.
True. Maybe
So
it's a bear skinwalker.
yeah, yeah, could be. But luckily there is a way to kill these bastards. Um, there's a few ways. So first off, if you shoot the creature with a bullet dipped in white ash, it is said to kill them.
Okay.
I read some things that it says you have to shoot them in the head, or it passes right through them. Others say it doesn't matter. White ash dip bullet will kill them.
Hmm.
Um, it also says shooting them with a silver bullet. That's kind of where, and I'm wondering if this is where we got some of our werewolf, like you said earlier,
Yeah,
our werewolf legends.
the similarities are
Yeah.
interesting.
But with this one, out of all of the research I did, it said 100% you have to put a silver bullet in its head. White ash tip bullet, some said anywhere. Silver bullet has to be in the head or it'll
Hmm.
pass right through it. And then another one is if you discover someone is a skinwalker, you figure it out, and you know their identity, you go up to them, you say their name. So say you were a skinwalker. Oh God, if you die in the next 3 days, my world's gonna be blown away. Uh, Kyla, you are a skinwalker. And you say it 3 times. Kyla, you are a skinwalker. Kyla, you are a skinwalker. And the Navajos say that within 3 days, this person will sicken and die, become ill.
Interesting.
Uh, so I just said that. So guys, if on the next episode, I am telling you about the passing of my wife, she was a fucking skinwalker. Uh,
Surprise!
yay!
Yay!
So yeah, I mean that's how you kill them. That's how you become one. That's kind of their origins. And now I've got 5 stories of actual encounters with skinwalkers. And some of these, I apologize if the pronunciation is wrong. Some of these words are complicated, like the big one right there, Yenalushi, I think is how you say it.
You
Say
know,
it? Yenalushi.
Delushi?
Yeah, I don't
Delushi?
know. But yeah, I'll go through these and we can kind of hope we're never in these fucking situations because some of these are fucking terrifying. And I think one of them is a guy, if I remember right, one of them is a guy that goes back to the same spot multiple times and sees this thing. I'm like, why are you going back to that spot anymore?
Right?
But the first one is, Lucia is watching me. And so it states, my grandmother on my mother's side has always been very superstitious, for lack of a better word. She's not religious, but she does believe in a lot of paranormal stuff. Her mother was a full-blooded Navajo, and her father was Irish. So I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
lady already freaking knew what was going on.
Yep.
Either way, she'd never been anywhere east of Montana, and she grew up in Nevada, which is a huge area for skinwalkers. Is I don't think we have to worry. I've heard most of the stories are down that way.
Well,
Nevada, Arizona, New
isn't that kind
Mexico,
of like the
well,
home?
Navajo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one year when I was in grade school, we went to visit her. Most of the visit was pretty uneventful, typical boring old people stuff, except she always kept her curtains drawn and shut and would always peek out the window when someone asked, and run on sentences. And when someone asked what she was doing, she would simply reply, Yenad Lucy is watching me. I'm never staying at grandma's house. Like, I used to love going to my grandparents' house. We still go to your grandma's house. If grandma was freaking
Starting
saying
to
this
say like
weird supernatural,
something is
no,
watching
no,
her.
I'm never going there. Grandma, I love you. No longer having a
Why is
relationship.
Grandma living by
Yeah,
herself?
you can come visit me. I'll pay for the airplane ticket.
She needs to be at home.
Yeah. This went on for nearly the entire visit until a few days before we were due to leave. My grandma and my then baby brother, he's 19 now, LOL. I don't know.
Okay.
We're in the front yard that evening planting flowers when all of a sudden my grandmother started shouting. Insert little brother's name here. Get away from that creature. It's not safe. Of course, being in Nevada, we all assumed that my brother had found a scorpion or rattlesnake. That would be my luck, too. So we all run outside to see my grandmother clutching my little brother and shaking in terror against the side of the house. Standing out in the yard was a large, black, Great Dane sized dog. Which, thank you, story. I want a Great Dane, and now because of this, I probably will still never get one because this one doesn't like them.
Nope. Whose horse is that?
It was staring at my grandmother with an intensity I had never seen before. It looked up at us, gave a little huff, and bounded off. I don't remember if it moved unusually fast or not, but I do remember it had really deep yellow eyes. Oh shit. When my mother asked my grandmother what had happened, she kept repeating, the Yenadlushi has found me. She moved a couple weeks after that. That's terrifying. First off, why is this thing
So
after her?
she kept calling it the Yunal Delushi or whatever. Like,
Yenadlushi. I think that
what does
might.
that mean?
So in Navajo, they don't say skinwalker. and that could be another name for it, but they don't speak the name because it draws it to them. But can we just talk about that? Finally, someone is smart. She fucking noped the fuck out of there.
Yeah,
She is it.
it. I looked it up. So it's in Navajo mythology, Skinwalkers, also known as the Delushi, or I don't know if we're saying it right, are witches who wear coyote skins and travel at night.
Yeah, so it's a skinwalker. It's a type
Yep.
of skinwalker.
So
So I
yeah,
wonder if they're able to say,
this one is specifically showing pictures of like werewolf-looking motherfuckers,
oh yeah. I'm wondering if they're not allowed to say skinwalker, but they can call it by other names, like
right?
Yanalushi. I actually have that picture that'll be up on Instagram.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So yeah, at least she got the hell out of there.
Yeah.
So the next one is called The Grove. It says this didn't happen to me, but a very close friend of mine. I've heard a lot about coyotes and skinwalkers, and had a weird experience or two with coyotes. Creepiest was walking up to my sleeping bag being surrounded in paw prints without ever hearing them during the night. What the fuck? That's horrifying, but never anything paranormal. Patrick's story, however, kept me from going back to my favorite backcountry secret stash. He was leaving the area one morning, had been camping there a couple days, and said there was a coyote that always seemed to be close by, which coyotes are very skittish. So having a
Mm,
coyote, no, they are. Okay, well, at least the coyotes that I grew up with in Southern California, you come anywhere near them, they take the fuck off.
yeah, but that doesn't mean that they're not curious and not looking and around.
They steer clear. We used to hear them howling in the desert, but they didn't come close other than to eat our cats. Um, so it always seemed nearby and like in his peripheral vision, but never overt. He loaded up his truck and started to drive down the washout to the fire road at the end of the wash. He could see the coyote was following him. So that's what I'm saying. Like a coyote that's not scared to just walk up to you and be around, but then it's following your fucking truck. When he pulled onto the road, it was running next to him. Now he was freaking out, so he sped up. He said he was going 35 or so, and it was still running alongside him. I don't think coyotes can run 35, 40 miles an hour.
Let's find out.
You know, look at,
Hey, we're fact checking right now, right?
yeah. Uh, but here, hold on.
No, I'm listening.
Definitely not possible. But when he looked back, the coyote was running on two legs
Oh, well, that definitely can't happen.
and was wearing what Patrick said looked like buckskin pants. An instant later, it was a person wearing a coyote fur keeping pace with his truck.
Coyotes can run up to 35 to 43 miles per
Well, I
hour.
mean, maybe the coyote could keep up
Not
then,
on two
but not on two
legs.
legs, and this man definitely couldn't. So he said he saw someone in a coyote fur, and it was keeping pace with his truck. He looked away. When he looked back again, it was gone. Another smart person who's going to survive a horror movie, it says, we never went back to that grove again. So, two people, grandma moved away, and this guy never went back to the grove. So, smart people, they
Maybe
won't.
there is hope for people.
Jesus. The next one is called The Face.
Yikes.
The first time, he's talking about a friend. The first time he was driving alone on a road that has an open field to the left of it, when out of nowhere a black figure on all fours bounds out of the field and across the road in front of his car. As soon as the figure got to the other side of the road, it stops with inhuman quickness, turns around, and looks directly at my roommate. He describes the figure as looking simian, completely black except for the face. The creature's face was a stark white human face. Not white as in Caucasian, but white as snow. That's terrifying because the contrast, black with
No
just a white
white.
face. And maybe this guy's not very smart because he kept driving over there. Because it says this happened again a few weeks later, but this time the creature was sitting in a tree. I hit puberty there for a second.
Yeah.
As his car approached, it climbed down the tree again with inhuman quickness, bounded across the road, stopped on a dime, and turned around and made eye contact with him. And now remember what we said earlier? If you make eye contact with them, they can possess you. Your friend's a fucking skinwalker possessed person. Run away.
Yeah.
This time, he had a friend in the car who saw it and began freaking out, which I would too.
Rightfully.
I would have already shit my pants. So, you know, we would have been scared and had a horrible smell in the car. Uh, it was the same exact thing as the first time. Simian, black body with a snow white face, or expressionless human face. My roommate, ever the curious one, turned the car around and began searching for the creature,
Why?
but it was nowhere to be seen. I I don't know why you would go look for that. I wouldn't go look for that. You
Yeah.
would divorce me if we turned around and went and looked for that.
I yeah.
I just I don't that guy's dead. So two smart people, one idiot.
Yay.
This next one is interesting because it's not your typical Skinwalker story, and it's more they're not an animal. We'll just read
Okay.
people,
Okay.
which is terrifying to me. So this all happened about this is called the ruins because they were adventuring in a Spanish ruin in New Mexico. This all happened about 5 years ago. One night, a few of my friends decided after a night of hanging out that we'd go on an adventure at about 3 a.m. I want to say you're stupid, but at the same time, been
Same
there.
though.
We went to an abandoned medical hospital one time in my old town at like
Yikes.
2 o'clock in the morning, where there's a bunch of needles and stuff because the druggies hung out there, and we were like, "Yeah, let's go there." And it was stupid. Anyway,
That's
back.
some Silent Hill
Yeah, I
shit.
was an idiot. Small town. It was either go cow tipping, go rat stomping,
Oh god.
or go explore the abandoned hospital with
You know,
creepy
I
shit.
would go to the
So
abandoned hospital too, so it's okay. Anyway.
we took a ride about 50 miles to this old Spanish ruin. Like I said, they were in New Mexico. That was once the seat of the Inquisition, which, Jesus Christ, if there's not ghosts there too, I don't know what is, because the Inquisition was fucking
I
terrifying.
don't know what that is.
That was when a lot of the crazy Catholic people would grab people that weren't and like torture them, and a lot of stuff. That could be an episode because the Inquisition was terrifying, and I guarantee we got some spooks out of that.
Yikes.
I can't for the life of me remember what the place is called. So we jumped the front gate to this place and started exploring. One of my friends brought a flute with him and started playing it. And about 30 seconds into his, they put in parentheses, mediocre, fucking friends, playing, something started screaming really, really loud at the top of it's blah, 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 on the tops of the long destroyed walls of the place. So I'm already noping the fuck out of there from screaming. Owls in the woods at night terrify me, let alone a freaking scream, blood curdling scream.
Nah, see, if you're hearing the owls, you're fine.
Yeah, it's when everything goes quiet.
It's when it's quiet that you should be scared.
So it was going from wall to wall really quickly, screaming the most blood curdling scream you'd ever imagine. Right there. We noped the fuck out of there, so at least they're smart. One of my friends pissed his pants. So at 3 a.m., they're probably drunk, maybe a little high. I wouldn't be surprised if he literally pissed his pants.
Yeah.
And drove for a few hours. What the fuck are they doing?
Yeah.
To Bandelier National Monument, where we planned to camp out for the rest of the weekend. We got to Bandelier, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, at probably like 6 or 7 a.m. and set up our camp. After a few hours just talking about what the hell happened at the ruins, I went to take a piss behind bad writing. Behind a blank. Probably only like 300 feet from our camp. This is where everything starts to get a little fuzzy. I remember seeing two dust devils coming my way. When I turned around again, two of my friends were there, and they were motioning me to follow them. I couldn't help but follow them, like I was being pulled behind them in shackles. That's fucking terrifying.
Interesting.
Two friends.
Mm-hmm.
I followed them for what seemed like 10 to 15 minutes, and then I snapped out of it. These weren't my friends. They had bright red hair with my friend's face and cat eyes. So again, the yellow eyes kind of thing, because most cats have that yellow tinge to their eyes. That's terrifying. Both of these friends were brunette. I stopped walking, and they looked at me with probably the most terrifying gaze I had ever seen. Monsters in movies are nothing compared to this. I turned around and ran as fast as I could back the way I came. Well, first mistake, you shouldn't have fucking run.
Yeah.
They're gonna just chase you. But it sounds like he got away. After like 5 minutes of a full sprint, I got back to the rock that I'd pissed at and found our camp. Everyone was still there, sitting around talking, and didn't even notice that I was gone. I told them what happened with the look-alike skinwalkers, and we packed up everything and left probably within like 10 minutes and got the hell back to Albuquerque.
I mean, to me, like, I don't know, this one almost weirdly doesn't sound like Skinwalkers, though.
My thing is the location, and they can imitate people. So how do you know these things weren't there? And they say that they can possess you. So if he locked eyes with them when they called him to follow,
Hmm. Yeah, but
what's to say they couldn't pull him along with
if
them?
they can imitate, why was the hair the wrong color?
I mean,
And nothing else was ever described as having cat eyes, though.
he could have said cat eyes, but I mean yellow eyes.
Well, it doesn't
Still,
say
I
anything
know
about
it
color.
the color, but I don't know. I think it was still Skinwalkers, fucked up version of Skinwalkers. Who's to say a Skinwalker in each region is the same?
Yeah.
But that one was weird to me. He also could have been just high as a fucking kite or drunk
I
off his
mean, they
ass.
literally were up all night
Yeah,
doing whatever they were doing the night before. I mean, it said that they drove for hours
yeah,
and then set up camp. So literally, they
fucking
were
exhaustion.
sleep deprived,
Yeah, could
coming
be.
still either drunk or high or coming down from it,
Okay, but
along with the sleep deprivation.
I've never been that drunk or tired that I'm literally like seeing these beings come out of fucking dust devils that imitate my friends and have cat eyes.
Yeah.
Like you got to be tripping on something crazy to see that.
Paranoia can do crazy things to you, though.
What about the first encounter though?
At the
The
ruins?
ruins. That's what makes it weird. Is like two in
Well, if
one night.
they. That's kind of honestly the part that makes me not believe it a little bit more. Because if they drove for hours,
Paranoid
they
already.
they said that they drove for hours. Their skinwalkers aren't going to follow them for hours, especially not if they have. I think they're. To me, it sounds like these creatures would be borderline territorial in a sense, and I feel like they wouldn't just travel that far just for one meal.
Unless they jeepers creepered that and smelled something they liked, and
Yeah, I guess.
I mean obviously they don't just steal body part. Well,
Meh.
they do make bone fucking potions and shit. I don't know. That one I'm split on. I just thought it was super unique to a lot of
Yeah,
the other stories that I had read, so I couldn't not put it in.
I like the other stories seem more believable and they have a lot of more similarities. This one seems a little bit like more like left field.
Yeah. Like I said, unique story. I figured I would add it in because I
Yeah.
liked it. So the next one is they ran away on their back legs,
Okay.
which is never good. So this happened about 12 years ago. My family owns a farm in the heart of an Indian reservation.
Okay.
So that's, yeah. One winter, I was home for Christmas taking care of the farm while my parents were away Christmas shopping. As I was home by myself, way late in the night, and I hear all of our cows freaking out. I knew it had to be the wild dogs that are rampant in the area. So I throw on some boots, grab a shotgun, load it up, and head out to the field. This was a perfect scenario for a horror movie. At least he acknowledges
I
that.
mean,
It was cloudy, but there was a full moon. It was breaking through the clouds just right to light up the snow. I ran out into the middle of the field, and just in time I saw two dogs. They were standing up, facing each other, and fighting. I think perfect 2 for 1, so I pumped the shell into the chamber of Mr. 12 gauge, and then it happened. Happened? It
happened.
happened.
It happened.
Jesus. The two dogs heard the rack. They both stopped, looked over at me, and ran away on their back legs. Immediately I froze, and every ghost story about skinwalkers and all the other native legends I grew up with flew through my mind. Keep in mind, I'm a white guy, and up until then, these were all just boogeyman stories that native kids like to tell to scare us. That night, they became real to me. So at least they were just like picking on each other or going after the cows, but still,
I have goosebumps from that one. Why did that one get me so much?
I mean, I don't know,
There's something just
primal, primal fear of that.
well for me it's like he wasn't a believer. Like
No,
he didn't believe it. A lot of the other people, like all the other stories that we just read, like they knew about it previously. This guy didn't even believe in it. He knew about it, but he didn't believe in it. And like seeing something like that can instantly make you a believer, no matter
yeah.
what anybody says.
I mean, this is off track, but I get what that means. Is like I was always like a skeptic about ghosts and spirits and stuff, and there's been some times I've told you about the Queen Mary and
Hmm.
these houses I go to that I just get these horrible feelings for, and it's opened me up to
Yeah.
believing in those things a lot more. But that's
Seeing and feeling can make a believer out of
oh, that was the last
even the
one.
biggest skeptic. And that stories like that are so much, that's why I think that's why it gave me goosebumps, is because those ones are so much more believable and so real, is because it's just you, a skeptic, instantly becoming a believer of, yeah, this fucking happened.
Like I said, and I don't want to make you upset, but the other day when we were talking about the Skinwalkers, and I mentioned your grandpa, and that I wish I had been able to talk
Yeah.
to him because you're not sure what
I don't
branch, is that the right word?
know.
What
It's not.
tribe of Indians he is from, but I would have
Yeah.
loved to have picked his mind to
Hmm.
see if he had any legends or anything like that. That would have been
When
so cool.
when I did get to talk to him a lot and stuff, I was younger, and so I didn't really know about any of this.
Yeah.
And so I wasn't really, and of course, he's not going to tell a little kid and scare the shit out of a little kid.
Well, and here's the thing: he might not have, if he was Navajo or what, he might not
Yeah.
have spoken about it at all
Yeah.
because they were taught not to.
It's very possible. He didn't even, he wouldn't even like his picture taken because he believed that it captures your soul. Like, he wouldn't let us take pictures of him. He was definitely very like strong with his beliefs, and so it's
He
possible
might
that
not
he
have
might
ever
not have
mentioned it.
even talked about it.
Yeah, Skinwalkers.
It would have been cool.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to talk to him about it, but yeah, that was the last story. So take it how you want to. Those are just a few of the stories I came across. There's quite a few. Um,
I've seen a lot of different videos too. I what a lot of the videos have in common are the screaming,
yeah. So here's the thing that
but that's easy to fake.
well, yes, but the videos that you see out there, you have to really do the research on because some of them could be skinwalkers and some of them are very Wendigo.
That's true.
Wendigos are known more for imitating the people's voices over animals
Hmm.
because they're not in tune with the animals. They're more of the help me, or things
Yeah,
like that. Which Wendigos will be an episode on this. I 100% promise that because I find them absolutely fascinating. And some of the videos I've heard out there are bone chilling, but
yeah,
the I really want to do the I'll have to do it this week sometime is the video on videos of the Skinwalkers.
yeah.
I don't know if you'll join me on that one or not, but I definitely want to do that, so keep an eye out. Um, but yeah, Skinwalkers, guys, they're terrifying. Don't kill family members and become a crazy witch and eat them, and just don't do it. You're over there thinking, which worries me.
No, I'm
No,
no,
guys, you
I'm
should have seen the look on her face. She was contemplating it.
no.
Again,
That was not.
if I don't have any more episodes after this, it's not because I didn't want to. My wife ate me. She now turned into me.
I have 3 days now because you called me out.
That's
So
fair.
no, I was thinking in my brain, in my mind
I
space.
could smell it.
Thanks. Gears turning. Now I lost it.
Oh,
No, no. Um, the skinwalkers and the werewolves, well, lichens in general, and the wendigos, like they all have similarities, and it would be really cool to like after doing individual stories for each one, come back and do a story about
like
comparisons.
compare them. I
Yeah,
mean, legends all start somewhere, and this could be exactly where the
they could essentially be the same thing, but just different
well, what's kind of interesting too is
origin
I
stories.
didn't dive into it that much, but there are actually I saw some rumors of a Australian version of a Skinwalker, Aborigines.
Ooh.
I didn't go into it anymore. I just wanted to focus on the Navajo ones, but
I
yeah,
mean, that could be a part two,
whole episode.
a whole new episode, part two.
Anyway, guys, thank you, babe, for coming on this episode.
Yay!
If you guys like her, put it in the comments so that we can, or leave a comment or whatever, so that she comes back for more. Because I want her to come back for more. Uh,
You want me to come back for more?
I don't know what I'm going to do for the third episode, what's next, so no hints for you here yet. I've done a serial killer for episode 1, a supernatural slash legend for another one. I'm thinking a haunted place or some sort of ghosty thing. Not sure yet. My email for the podcast is available, so if you guys have ideas, send me the ideas. I want to hear about it because I would much rather go do something that you guys want than something you have no interest in. So, yeah, until next episode, thank you guys. I hope you keep listening, and we'll be back.
Bye!